or first ban if you know that it's not really the best enabler for a win on Infamous's side. If you let that pass, I'm pretty sure Infamous would say, you know what, even if you think that you can beat out Spaghetti's Idris, he would still go for it. And he is comfortable. Like, he knows that anything that they throw on his path, if he has that Idris, he can just dodge it. Literally and figuratively because, you know, Shroud Step and yeah.
Exactly. And this is actually a pretty... I was about to mention how they're going to be banning the Grace. Taking the Lyre from themselves and not letting that safety net for Infamous. So what is Infamous going to ban this time around? They're going to be banning the Glaive, which has been a consistent ban throughout the series, which I understand. I feel like Elite 8 has been performing well on the Glaive, so not getting them those comfy picks. But what do you think is Elite 8? Are they going to be locking up the box? Are they going to be locking out the Kestrel? Kestrel is open. What do you think?
Against a Lyra.
You mean with the Lyra?
Okay. Oh yeah, actually, rather with the Lyra. Maybe they can go for the Vox because that's a pretty good counter against the Idris. But they will decide to actually go for the Black Feather. Maybe to think that there might be a Batiste to follow up from Infamous's side here. Which could also be pretty good as well. Although on the other hand,
what do you think? I mean, this is definitely a similar...
They might bring back the Taka.
They might. They might go double dive, perhaps. Looking at the first draft where Idris actually appeared, they paired it with a Scarf. But without Lance into the equation, without Graze into the equation, there's little frontline protection if they do lock in that sort of composition, which is the standard melee, and then they lock in like a range DPS. So they're gonna settle with the Ardan. We've seen this Ardan before when they locked in the Scarf. This is from our very first series, which is the Popeyes one. They could, they could replace the Grace. They could replace the Lance with an Ardan. Perhaps we'll see if it's gonna be a Scarf.
I have seen Arden being used by Clowny, like, I think way back during Split 1, or maybe the earlier stages of Split 2, but it's not as good right now. Although maybe that they are just going to use it so that they can bait out. Finally, a Samuel comes out, but I didn't actually think that they would put this out. So it's going to be a Samuel in the jungle. Level 2, he does have a pretty good spike. An answer for Elite 8 here would be something, maybe a Koshka could come out as well. Or they could go for a Black Feather in the jungle and then maybe bring out the Baron, because the Baron wouldn't be too bad here, even a Kestrel as well.
Definitely. For Elite 8, they decide to go for the Vox instead.
Okay.
It's a very balanced fallback type with this draft of Elite 8. Vox has been banned for a few of the games in this matchup. Vox didn't work out so well during game number 1. It was released on their side, and I feel like they could repair the damage or the mistakes from game number 1, as this is a different Infamous comp this time around. But a lot of sustained damage from Infamous, really good protection as well. Not as good as the Grace, not as good as the Lance, but protection is still there from the Vanguard.
That's true. And on the other side, at least you do have, you know, that gauntlet to be able to keep your opponents in the midst of it all. But there's a lot of mobility coming in from Elite 8. You got the Sonic Zoom from the Vox, you got the Rose Offensive from the Black Feather, and of course, the Arcane Passage from the Lyra. Here on the side of Elite 8, they do have, I would say, a good scaling from early game to the late game, because they got the Idris for that late game. Weapon power is going to be the build path here, of course, for Spaghetti, and then at least you got the Samuel, like I said. Once you get that Malice and Verdict and Drifting Dark, that's when he starts to ramp up, and I think that he might use that to be able to invade on this Black Feather with the help from that Arden.
Exactly. I'm really excited how this is going to pan out, because Elite 8 have locked in their comfort picks. We mentioned in the panel earlier, they're definitely not going to try something, you know, cheesy at this point, because it did not work during the fourth game for themselves. And Black Feather, Vox, Lyra, very dive heavy, definitely going to enter using the Arcane Passage. and then they've got a lot of mobility, they've got a lot of repositioning skills for themselves, which answers, or more like, which actually brings the question of how is Infamous gonna lock this very mobility heavy Elite 8 composition?
Yeah. Aside from maybe talking about how much mobility comes out from Elite 8, there's the point where you gotta remember, a Vox, even though coming into this 2.7 patch, again, has been a nerf because of the build path with Tension Bow and Poison Shiv, he still builds into these items, and these items are still good. They're not as good, but they're still good, and they're very cheap to build. So that means that the Vox will get a faster scale than the Idris, who needs, give or take, 3 items, which is going to be a little bit expensive, and then the Vox would have like 2 items, which is super cheap. And this is where Elite 8 should work with. Once he gets those item spikes, he's going to have to push early with his team, and then Infamous, they have to survive it, but I think they'll be able to because there's a safety, like you said, with from the Arden, with that Vanguard, and at least good poke with the Chakram and the Malice and Verdict. I don't know, though, if the Chakram and as well as Malice and Verdict is good enough to clear waves, but we'll just have to see.
But for Infamous side, it's a matter of questioning. It's a matter of how they're going to punish these aggressive plays, because definitely Elite 8 is going to be the team, once they dive into you, they still can't afford to escape, especially if the Bulwark is still, coinciding with the Arcane Passage, not allowing the rest of the members of Infamous to actually follow through and um, try to bait them out. But then
Yeah.
for Infamous, Idris, Arden, Samuel, I can say that they're very comfy, but in a way, this is a different, again, this is not SNK, this is Clowny. Clowny on an Arden, I've never seen this before, but you have.
Yeah.
It was definitely something that we could look forward to. Infamous this time around with a Samuel, they've got that sleep ult for their side to actually counter Elite 8 when they go into these aggressive maneuvers. And Idris with, is he going Crystal? Correct?
Yes.
No,
Oh,
Samuel.
no.
Samuel is
Samuel's
the
gonna
Crystal.
go Crystal, yeah.
And then Idris is going to be going
Weapon
power this
Yep.
time around. So it really changes the dynamics. It's very balanced in terms of damage, but I'm just a little bit too worried because we've seen the Ardan not performing well into this tournament. We've only seen the second Ardan just today in day number 1 of the SEA Championships. So I'm not sure how this is going to fare well, because we know that Grace is taken off the table of the choices. That's why I'm a little bit scared for Infamous, because I'm not sure if this comp can afford to be patient, because there's not going to be an ordained deny on towards aggression. You do have the Gauntlet, but the Gauntlet is an ultimate. It's something that Elite 8 can just keep going and going at you. They're not going to be reliant on the Arcane Passage for any initiates whatsoever. They can
Yeah.
just dash right in. That's the difference of their kit.
But you gotta remember as well that Clowny's not the only one who can at least provide some space for the other members of Infamous to, get away from, like you call the aggression of Elite 8. You gotta remember, as a Samuel, once you hit that level 6, you got the Oblivion, which isn't as good as a Fearsome Shade for Disengage, but if you can connect it, it will put your opponents to sleep, which is also good. That'll delay their push against you. And then Spaghetti, if he gets 100 weapon power already, I believe, or rather at least if he has enough weapon power, his Shroud Step, rather than a combat roll, it'll turn into a blink. That'll give a lot of, I would say, gap, not closer, but gap away from his opponents.
Distance away from the opponents.
Better distance away from your opponents. Thank you. That was
Definitely.
really
And
weird.
they can play around that. I feel like Infamous, for me, if I compare it to game number 1, which is a little bit similar to what they drafted, except that it's not a Samuel. It's not a Scarf, it's a Samuel. It's not a Lance, but an Ardan. So I feel like it's one of those plays, or one of those matches where they have to really get ahead onto the game, and it's not like the previous game that we witnessed where Kestrel, Batiste, and what was the other pick again? Kestrel, Batiste, for some reason I don't have it on record. The Scarf. They have a little bit more room to scale.
Wasn't
and
it Vox? We were talking about Elite 8, right?
Infamous.
Infamous.
Infamous
Yeah,
and
yeah.
game number 4.
Oh, 4. Okay, sorry.
It was Kestrel,
Batiste
Batiste, and
Scarf.
Scarf.
Yeah, yeah.
So definitely Infamous, despite wanting to be a little bit more patient this time around, I feel like their time might run out a bit as Elite 8 has really good scaling on their side as well. Although Black Feather rather could be might be might have a problem with Arden's Gauntlet.
I'm thinking, yeah, that's actually going to be true since the Gauntlet, or rather, Ardens, to make that Gauntlet effective, they're going to be buying up into an Echo. So a second, uh, either maybe the first Gauntlet would be still passable by the Black Feather, but then a second might not be. So that's another thing to deal with. Also, aside from maybe what you said, I would actually like to put a bit more emphasis on these junglers because again, like a little bit of a broken record, I'm going to say that there is a good amount of damage from the Samuel once he hits its level 2, which is better in the early game compared to the Black Feather. So the Black Feather is going to have to wait for his items or his levels to be able to, provide some support for his teammates. And while in that, I would say, stasis of being not able to help your teammate in terms of damage, in terms of, I guess, presence as a hero, that's where Infamous can keep Spaghetti rolling and at the same time stop Vox from getting his early game items. So, it's all going to be, I feel, in the hands of Uni to start off this early game.
I do have to agree with you there. But you saw how passive they were playing during the 4th game. Both of them were afraid to make the first move. But the thing is, with looking at Infamous and Elite 8's comp, it seems like Elite 8 will definitely be doing the movements, if you will.
Yeah.
So they really cannot afford to be passive this time around. They have to take advantage of this comp. It's kind of like how the previous series we had was a Taka, it was a Black Feather, and was it a Grace? Yes, it was a Grace, where it was a little bit linear. They have to take advantage of this, although in comparison to that, at least they have the Vox for the clears, for the siege potential, for the poke, and that's why it's a really different dynamic this time around. It's not linear. It's more like they have more choices when they want to enter the fight or how they're going to be winning this game. Elite 8, there's also, do not forget about the silence coming from the Vox, mobility wise as well, a lot of safety. Infamous, for some reason I'm worried about Infamous's composition this time around. It's something that for some reason when I look at it on paper, I'm not confident enough. Idris is definitely going to spike, just as you said, once he gets that 3-item power spike on his weapons. But I don't know. It's I feel like they're lacking something.
Well, I feel like both of these teams are actually lacking something. Although at least there is going to be a little bit of upper hand here for Elite 8 since they got the Lyra, which is again one of the 2 or possibly even maybe 3 arguably with our Adagio that have heals. So what this just means is you got yourself some sustain in any part of this game. So any clash that happens, that Imperial Sigil will come and give as much heals as it can to Official Hein and Hun Jaegers, and of course even Anime Save Me. But there's one thing that I actually want to at least take away, maybe from one of the matches that we've seen in North America, TSM I think versus
Immortals, was it?
Immortals or C9, wherein TSM was supposed to lose, but Best Chuck NA on his CP Idris was a total god. And even though this is going to be a weapon power Idris for Spaghetti, I think it works similarly, and if he can rise to the occasion, then I feel like Infamous will be able to deal with this. Uni and Clowny, or rather, Uni has been, I would say, balanced overall in terms of his performance. Clowny has been spiking up, so if ever Clowny doesn't do well here, it has to fall down into the hands of Uni and Spaghetti. Here for Elite 8, I would say all of them have been playing phenomenally well. But if there were situations wherein Official Hein and Hun Jaegers were just, face check a brush and get obliterated.
Yeah.
So they got to be careful about that one as well.
Yeah, those little bits of mistakes definitely have been repaired from game number 2. From game number 4, rather. As we head on over to game number 5, Infamous versus Elite 8. 2-2. Who's going to reach the finals? I have no idea. Both of these two teams have an equal chance.
of winning.
Definitely, but Elite 8 again have already qualified for the world slot for the for SEA. But meanwhile, Elite 8, I mean for Infamous rather,
Yeah.
really want to get this.
I feel like for for Elite 8, aside from, of course, getting that quote-unquote glory of being crowned the kings of the summer split, or even Vainglory 8 Southeast Asia, it's more of like the confidence play that they're gonna, or the confidence that they need to go into Worlds as well. You know, why are they trying so hard to beat Infamous in this best of 5?
Exactly. We've seen game number 2, game number 3. Again, you saw how these matches started to fall on Elite 8 side was not due to the fact of their Infamous's draft, not because of the early macro play towards mid game. It was all about these late game decision making from Infamous that led to their downfall. And I feel like it got repaired away from game number 4. Nicely done Vanguard from Clowny. There is the Bulwark from the side of Elite 8, just for a little bit of safety.
So, I mean, this is a lot of aggression, but not really what you think that could lead into a kill. It's more of like aggression just to have control in the lane, which is, I would say, in a way, kind of different. You can see two contrasting captains. One who has shield for protection and one who has heal for protection. So in the longer run, the heal will come out on top. Although Official Hein gets the last laugh as he does get that Elder Treant. So at least a little bit of a good win here for Elite 8. But that did give Spaghetti a little bit of time to actually get some sweet last hits in the lane.
Definitely. Elite 8, as I said earlier from before, they're going to be a little bit more patient, but looks like we're going to see a lot of pokes here. Clowny, very low at this point. That's 3 members colliding on towards the lane. Half HP for this Ardan. And meanwhile, Samuel is just going to be focusing here on the jungle side, which is understandable. He's not getting pressured too much by Elite 8's rotations. It's more like Elite 8 is going to be pressuring this lane because their priority is actually to try and choke down Spaghetti and not Uni. So we'll see. Anime Save Me.
Yeah.
Just going to be putting in some pokes here and there.
Interestingly enough, Spaghetti, even though he's been quite harassed here by Anime Save Me and Hun Jaegers, look at his CS. It's still, what, 32 to the 23 of Hun Jaegers, which I would see is pretty sizable, you know, considering that it is a Lyra and a Vox combination. But now Uni, there's the Drifting Guard, has the Malice and Verdict, and like I said, good amount of poke, good amount of damage as well. Official Hein tries to go in for some pokes of his own, but this is just a trade from both of these teams right here, right now. Spaghetti, he's trying to at least get as much as he can, but at the same time, he can't really, or rather, Uni can't really give the farm to Spaghetti like before because Samuel also needs pretty good items to be able to deal compared to when Uni had a Crow.
Definitely. Uni with a consistent damage, Spaghetti with the burst later on. We're going to be seeing that as they scale up towards the mid game, but you can see that there's not much pressure going around this jungle side for Infamous. They're freely farming, same goes for Elite 8. Again, no one wants to try these aggressive plays this time around compared to what we've seen before from Infamous with these early rotations, forcing Elite 8 to respect that, back away, probably use the lane to farm instead. This is the last game. Both of these teams are definitely hesitant to make the first aggressive move, as it is it's gonna be detrimental in terms of mindset and as well as that early game lead towards objectives.
Yeah, I also saw that there was the Lyra buying a lot of, or rather I think a minion candy as well. So they're really trying to push the lane against Infamous, but Infamous have been playing the footsie game quite well, even though there is the sustain and the poke coming in from Elite 8. There still haven't been kills just yet, but I might have to change that, as it looked like E8 from 0 to 100 has actually gone in, but now Clowny slaps into the face of Hun Jaegers. Although he might have been a bit too overextended right there, they still have to be careful because the Lyra does have the shield, or rather does have the heals with that Imperial Sigil. And here you go. I wanted to actually see if the wave clear from Uni and Spaghetti would be able to actually stop the siege of E8, and I think it's pretty decent. Not the best, but decent.
decent indeed. Elite 8 has everything covered. They've got safety, they got movement speed from the Sigil. Oh my god, the damage coming from Infamous just explodes Official Hein into almost dying, but Elite 8 with the sustain. Anime Save Me doesn't have any more. He does have a
Uni
good amount.
spotted out right here though, but Spaghetti with the Sorrow Blade fresh from his shop, actually able to get an immediate kill here onto Elite 8. He's got the Shroud Step that has the blink, and he's able to get 2 kills for his team. Well, we did talk about how, you know, Official Hein tends to be a bit overextended. Well, never mind. All of Elite 8 wants to overextend.
That was a weird, that was a questionable move,
Yeah.
definitely from Elite 8. I see no reason why the Lyra had to extend throughout that engage, but all right. 3 kills already for Infamous. And not too much of a lead. It's okay. 1k gold lead, we're fine. But that just gives room for Infamous to roam around the jungle a little bit, take away objectives for now. But Han Jaegers is going to be focusing more on getting the lane pushed on their favor.
Yeah, here, like you said, with the lane push, look at the itemizations for E8. They got the minion candy, so they want to go for the fast push with the wave, so they're waiting a little bit here. But if you check the items here on the other side for Han Jaegers, he has a tension bow and poison ship. This is the power spike of Elite 8, but at the same time, they gotta be careful because Infamous already has the Sorrow Blade with Spaghetti. So he's got that 100 weapon power perk already up for the Idris, so he's actually starting to get the damage that he needs. So now, Elite 8 are on a ticking time bomb. They gotta make something happen with their itemizations, but they gotta be careful as well. So this is the time to shine for Elite 8, but their time to shine is not a lot.
Definitely, they gotta wait for it here. Spaghetti is just going to jump down of 1/4 HP. Black Feather actually going to charge in. Uni's going to be fine with the Vanguard here from Clowny. There's the silence. There's the wait for it. And it seems that it wasn't actually used to their advantage. There wasn't any follow-up whatsoever coming from the box. But that was probably used just to scare them off at this point. E8, Official Hein might be in a bad position here.
Clowny trying to chase through the mustache brush, but it's not really going to happen. Gold Mine could be a good objective here for both of these teams, but Infamous, they want the more solid objective. They want to go for that turret, and Official Hein, look at his HP just go blown up. Gauntlet as well to follow through. And there it was, the Oblivion used by Uni. It's not really going to make matters easier for Infamous here, but it's not going to make matters harder for E8. The turret is still alive. It's stacking up onto that extra HP or extra shield. Good pokes from Official Hein. He's already level 8. He has a Shatter Glass, so his damage as a CP Black Feather is starting to ramp up as well. But in terms of, I think, explosive damage, you gotta check your eyes up onto Infamous because they do have, of course, have Spaghetti on his Idris. So it's really more of who can actually outlast each other on who's gonna make the first mistake.
Infamous definitely has the sustained capabilities whenever they enter into these fights, but if they're going to be trying the poking game, you know, entering the fight, then leaving, then going onto the defensive again, Lyra is just going to heal that right back up. And the thing is, once, you know, late game happens, for heals is just going to be more of a pain, but then again, if late game happens, Spaghetti is just going to be really bursty, really painful, and I can't imagine if you combine that with the Ardan, Vanguard, and Gauntlet and everything else. I'm just gonna be afraid for these squishy targets like Han Jaegers and especially Anime Save Me as well. But it's all about executing these skills well because Elite 8 has so much to work with. They have a lot of mobility skills. They've got the Arcane Passage. They've got the Vox as well. Everybody, okay, here's an Initiate.
They gotta go for the immediate assassination here. There was a good wait for it coming in from the box. The Fox blocked will be that ultimate from the Samuel, but whoa, Official Hein was not supposed to be there. They're trying to go in. And Pierce Sigil, I believe, with the help from Han Jaegers' auto attacks, was able to get the kill, but the Samuel is striding through. Can he go for it? Sonic Zoom to follow up as well, and Anime Save Me. Does he have the Arcane Passage? Yes, he does. He'll be able to escape from this one, but oh, the shield from Clowny, pretty damn good, and they didn't want to go for it because they know that Anime Save Me still has that escape tool. And I was actually about to say, aside from maybe looking into the future of this fight, let's look a little bit more into the present, wherein these teams are gonna be contrasting in how they have to approach these situations. Infamous wants to go for the burst with the Idris, but once the Idris doesn't get the burst, E8 can go for the sustained fights because they got the Lyra, they got the sustained damage, the sustained life from the Lyra, and sustained damage from the Vox. So it's not gonna matter if, or Infamous won't matter if Idris can't get that immediate kill or assassination against Elite 8.
Exactly. Elite 8 immediately counters that type of play whenever Spaghetti will fail these aggressive bursts coming from Infamous. So they've got the sustain, they've got the repositioning, they've got the reinitiate for themselves. They got the silence. Earlier, Oblivion wasn't that effective too much. It was more of a disengage tool rather than something that they could put out on the field and take advantage of. Everybody's asleep, you know, time to party. So Infamous this time around really has to rethink on how they initiate these fights, because for me, it's 5-1. Okay, Infamous in the lead. We've seen that so many times. Infamous with a 5 to 8k gold lead, but it really doesn't equate into pushing and structures and objectives. So let's see how this is going to work out. That's the bulwark being laid on towards the ground.
Man, Uni has been eating on points all day long. That was a little bit painful to watch. Imperial Sigil for the heal, and Infamous, they got Weapon Infusion and Crystal Infusion on both Spaghetti and Uni, so they really want to go for the push here. I think this was another buy from them. I'm not sure if the first infusions timed out, if they bought another one, but yeah, they're really investing heavily into getting this first objective against E8. They got the 5-1 scoreline, but it's not really as impactful as they want to. But Hun Jaegers is out of position here. This might be a good pickup here by Infamous.
Again, repositioning is their game. Official Hein, 1/2 HP, will probably respect that, back away, wait for the Sigil to actually get that sustain back in. No energy for Anime Save Me. This might be a little bit too risky. No heals. Just remember, Clowny, 1/2 HP already. Gauntlet already being used. 88 seconds on that one. Anime Save Me with the movement speed on towards the Sigil. And Official Hein, 1/2 HP as well.
Wow.
They're going to be respecting all the pokes coming from the Samuel. And there's the Vanguard going from Clowny.
Spaghetti.
Official Hein,
He has
very
a shimmer,
low.
he has a glimmer strike, he's going in. He actually gets the initiation. The chakram hits 2. And now they go for the chase. Clowny as well as Uni. This massive verdict has to connect, and it does get that first one. Now they gotta break down the turret, and Hun Jaegers is ripe for the taking. They want to go for it. They know that they can. Oh my god, they still don't get it. Hun Jaegers with that defense.
They underestimated the damage coming from Hun Jaegers. I feel like they could have played that better, probably take a pick off of Hun Jaegers, to Hun Jaegers first. But the problem is, a lot of the members from Infamous didn't have that much energy left, so I understand the play behind that. Probably let's chunk it down to a right amount of HP so that we can finish this turret later on towards the game. There's still a shield on that one. But what happened in that team fight was a lot of Elite 8's members didn't have any energy left. So they pretty much out-sustained them. They entered the fight. Spaghetti was very patient again, waited into the brush, then entered and finished off a couple of targets, put them in low enough for Infamous to do a cleanup. But Lyra, very, very persistent, a lot of heals. Sigil offering movement speed so she can easily micro it out.
And they're chasing him down. They do have the usage on that offensive arcane passage, but now they have been put into the zone, and this is actually looking pretty bad here for Infamous. Elite 8 get the ace, but there is still 30 seconds left into the Kraken, so Elite 8, what objective can they go for right now? That's going to be the turret and the gold mine, so they can spike up a little bit in terms of the gold. Wow. And you can hear the roar of the crowd. They're saying Elite freaking 8.
Definitely. Looking back at that clash, what happened there is that the Black Feather, everybody else is just going to be entering the fight. Vox landed a couple of hits already onto Samuel, and they just finished off the kill with the Bulwark being used for more offensive purposes, and after this, just practically a cleanup. It was all the pokes in the world from the Vox. Samuel was not in the best position whatsoever. Uni was just walking and eating up those hits, and that was just the signal for Official Hein and Anime Save Me to just collide and just fall onto that Samuel.
Pokes don't really go well against, or rather with Infamous's comp. I mean, like Elite 8 has the poke, like you said, and then Infamous, when they get all of that damage, Elite 8 feel better and better to actually go in aggressive. So with that in mind, now we're looking for the fight possibly here for the Kraken. 15 minutes and 30 seconds into the fight. Both of these teams would want this She-Beast to go in and push a lane for them right now to possibly get a little bit of the advantage, but E8, Official Hein, is in a pretty good spot, and even though Hun Jaegers, like we said, is on a Vox that builds a little bit of these early game items, he's still dealing good amount of damage with a third acquired item on that, I believe, breaking point.
Exactly, and they saw how squishy Uni was here. They might want to find that opportunity again where Hun Jaegers is they're finding it once again. Half HP. Let's see how this is going to pan out as Hun Jaegers gauntlet being laid out on towards the table. He's slowed at this point. Arcane Passage being used aggressively. They want to kill, but look at that. Shimmer Strike. Spaghetti, what are you doing? You're insane. You're greedy, and now you fall. Hun Jaegers almost goes to dying. He survives. No energy, and that'll be an impressive play from Elite 8.
I have no words. Hun Jaegers outplaying Spaghetti. Spaghetti had a good use on that Shroud Step, but Hun Jaegers with the Sonic Zoom just able to get away, and they got themselves to Samuel. This is looking grimmer and grimmer for Infamous.
Again, Infamous. They saw that Vox, or rather the Black Feather, was so low. They wanted to secure the kill. Spaghetti wasn't able to secure that. And Hun Jaegers with the micro skills. You gotta hand it to Elite 8 on this one. They're playing this really well. They're playing their comps well. Infamous still has no response. Gauntlet is not doing anything at all. The sustain during the fight coming from the Lyra and the repositioning, the reinitiating coming from the Arcane Passage just gives them so much room in these clashes, in these skirmishes, and that is why they're so comfy right now in engaging.
Full metal jacket for Hun Jaegers has been purchased just to be able to say to Spaghetti, I will be able to eat up your damage, but they do at least have the Idris to be able to chip down on this Kraken as quickly as he can, but it's not going to be enough. 2 turrets broken already by Elite 8. There's another usage onto the Arcane Passage, and this might be the GG push. Infamous, they gotta go for the defense. Elite 8, they can actually decide to go back or to push with their Kraken. So right now, that Imperial Sigil will go for the heals. Oh my god, this is gonna be close. They're going in. Spaghetti, he gets the stun onto the Gauntlet. Still, they are here to fight. They get the 1 kill onto Hun Jaegers, but they gotta deal with the Kraken. Back away. Go for that Kraken right now. Save yourself for the latest stages of the game. Don't allow that second turret to take any more damage because they might be backdoored by the easiest backdoor hero that is in Vainglory, that frickin' Lyra.
The thing is, we've seen these kinds of games where it was Elite 8 with their backs against the wall, with their vein exposed, and this is simply, oh no, hold that thought.
Fight breaking out into the lane. They get the turret. That is going to be fine here for Infamous. They're going to say no. We don't want to go as aggressive as you guys did. We don't want to go aggressive because we know that there is so much poke coming out from that on point on this Black Feather. Once he got that level 8, his on points range has been increased, and he has been stacking up so many items here. He's got the Shattered Glass, he's got the Broken Myth, and I think he's building up into maybe a Frostburn just for the slow. Could be wrong, but we'll see.
We'll see indeed. Again, we've witnessed game number 2, game number 3. Elite 8 had their backs against the wall, had their vein exposed. Infamous is now experiencing the same thing. It is still possible to turn this game around, but if you look at the movements of Elite 8, you can see that they can almost taste it. They can almost taste the finals. They can feel that they might face impunity tomorrow. But again, gold lead is still very close. But kills is still so close as well. Structures-wise, definitely Elite 8 side. It's all about execution here. We saw how Gauntlet can immediately turn things around. We saw how Vox and the Lyra, or rather Official Hein here on this Black Feather, got stunned there. Super low. Infamous can immediately chunk someone down. We all definitely believe in Samuel and Spaghetti here. It's just a matter of how they're going to engage into this, because it seems like they are allowing Elite 8 to keep starting the fight, because every time a fight happens, it's Uni that's already around half HP.
Yeah.
And that's why it's awkward to, keep fighting.
The other thing that you have to take note is, all right, so first of all, Blackfire is going to build up into a second broken hit, but never mind. It's going to be the fight. Enemy Save Me can actually go for the Arcane Passage right now, but Infamous, they want to actually chase down into their other side of the lane. They're fighting into the opposite side of the map. They don't want to go for the fight just yet because they're trying to test the waters. They're trying to see if they can find a good opening here. Hun Jaegers is very ballsy. Actually had an opening right there, but they still wouldn't want to go for it just yet. The HP of Clown is so low right now. There's the Gauntlet, there's the damage, the poke, the Rose Offensive. They're chasing them down. Can they go for it? The flag from Hun Jaegers. Uni gets blown up. Oh, Spaghetti here to the side as well. That's going to be the 1-for-1 trade. Official Hein was blown up as well. That's the 1-for-1, like I said. Oh, he's going to go for it. Enemy Save Me with that bulwark. He goes for it. Spaghetti, he can go for the counter as well. Does he have the damage? Oh my god, he has to go for a Shroud Step away. But do they have enough chase? Elite 8, can they actually go for the push into the lane? Oh my god, what are they doing? Crystal Sentry is being a total DB in front of the face of Spaghetti. And can he go for it? Oh, it's going to be close. But the Imperial Sigil, the ace, although 50 seconds left in the clock and Uni will be able to respond, the fight is still on.
9 seconds for Uni to respawn. Kraken is here. 5 seconds for the Black Feather. I feel like that was the best Spaghetti could do in that situation. Try to buy some time. Lure Elite 8 into chasing him down so that Infamous has more time to recover from that fight. But because of this, it is only 2 members dealing damage into this Kraken. But with Black Feather already into the equation, I feel like no steals is going to happen this time around from Infamous' side. So it's a Kraken.
No one shot, 1 kill. No Solar Storm to save you now, Infamous. So this is where legends are born. Game 5. Both of these teams tired, exhausted, mental fortitude on the down low. And now Elite 8 have an advantage. 1 turret left, 1 Kraken to push it all. And in the darkness binds them. I don't know, going for a little bit of that LOTR, but now I don't want to see, we might see Elite 8 go in an LMFAO as they try to go for the win. They're going to be forcing the fight right now. This is going to be the YOLO to push it all. Can they go for it? All they got to do right now is wait for that Kraken to push. But now Infamous are going for the dive. They're going in aggressive. The damage. Oh, it's on Jaegers. They're going to try to blow you up. They go for it. They get the 1. They go for a second. Oh, Official Hein is still alive right now, and he is going to be able to escape that Arcane Passage where Enemy Save Me will keep him alive. And this Kraken, oh, they had to deal with the Kraken. Go back to the base right now. Official Hein is alive. Uni is trying to shut them down. Oh, Anime Save is going to go down, but this Kraken has broken the turrets. The core is exposed, but you can see that Uni has stopped the bleeding. The counter race. Oh my god. 40 seconds in the clock for Official Hein and Anime Save Me. Will Infamous go for the YOLO base race push? Oh my god,
Kraken
it's
is
so
still alive, but Samuel Uni actually goes back. Looks like they're able to finish this Kraken off before the Kraken actually wins the game for Elite 8. My god, this game is insane. This is just the semifinals. This is not the finals just yet.
tie, Kraken tie.
And it falls as Uni recalls back to base and finishes that Kraken off. But 16 seconds on the clock. There's not much Infamous could take away from the map. They really don't want to risk it.
Yeah.
It's an exposed Vayne. We've seen in Split 1 and Split 2 where there are games where they just try to backdoor. They're just going to try to distract, keep them busy, bait them with a juicy 1/4 HP, 1/3 HP
Core.
hero.
Hero, sorry, yeah.
Let them chase them down, and then the next thing you know, you see someone from Elite 8 backdooring already. This has been witnessed in previous games before during the tournament, and I feel like it might happen. I seriously don't know who's going to win because Infamous finally found the clash that they're looking for, except that Kraken was already knocking down their base.
So this is gonna be so hard right now for Infamous. As if you were a beginner team, you would be sweating bullets right now, and at the same time, maybe making the worst decisions of your life. But Infamous, they are a veteran team. They got someone who played into Worlds, and now he's trying to lead them into victory to have another shot at that title. But Elite Eight, they have shown that time and time again in live events, they are as lively as can be. Can they go for the GG push? We're going to be looking into it right now as they have put down a plethora of these landmines just to stop that, that YOLO backdoor push from E8. And Infamous, they gotta be careful as well. Here we go. The fight breaks out. There's the gauntlet. He's gonna go in. Now, you can see the damage. Anime Save Me is pretty damn low. Han Jaeger's into the backline. He might have gone a bit too over-aggressive. He's going in. There's Spaghetti. Goes in with the Glimmer Strike into the backline. There's the heal coming in from Anime Save Me, but it's not going to be enough. Oh my god. Official Heindo breaking the backbone of the leader of Infamous right here. But Uni is chipping him down, putting out those green Skittles, what we call is Malice and Verdict. And the verdict is true. Official Hein has been taken out. And now Anime Save Me is left to defend Infamous. Can they go for the push, or will they go for the Kraken?
50 seconds on the respawn timers for Black Feather, for Official Hein. What can Infamous do? They don't have the Idris. There's only a single Lyra. Anime Save Me. It's good that they have at least that range DPS so that they're safe. Oh, the
Tactical pause.
The pause, my
Tactical
heart,
pause.
this game. This is crazy, Asarai. It feels like this is already the finals match for me.
I think if we put in, because the Lazar venue has been climbing up in temperature. I've been sweating since this best of 5 for the second match started. From, I would say, like 30 degrees to the point of boiling water. We have gone to past the boiling point, and this is, I would just say, complete pandemonium. The crowd is going wild. They don't know who's going to win anymore. It looked like Elite 8, but Infamous, they're coming back from what looked like a grave from the dead.
Exactly. I cannot imagine the mental stress that's happening for Infamous, because they've got an open base. They have to deal with several factors. Kraken probably gonna be taken away. They have to guard the jungle. They've got to be wary of these aggressive team fights. But then I feel like team fight is not Elite 8 strength anymore. It's more like, okay, we're gonna try to chunk Uni or Spaghetti down before we actually enter into the fight. That's something that they could take advantage of, and that's how they've been playing around with whenever they make these plays, and that's how they open up objectives for themselves. That's why they get the Kraken. It's because they managed to get a pick and managed to push away Infamous back to their base and play defense instead. But so far, it feels like Infamous has the advantage of being the aggressor this time around, not allowing any more of those Vox pokes, not allowing those Black Feather finishers this time. So, but then it's a huge headache to deal with that backdoor.
So another thing that I noticed here, if you check out the items for all of these 6 players, aside from maybe Anime Save Me, everybody is already item locked. And here's another thing. If this fight progresses more, that I believe these landmines, or rather scout traps from Infamous have been spotted out by Elite 8, there is no more vision control from them, aside from all of these leftover scout traps, because Clowny has bought his final item. I believe he went for Atlas Poldrum and Full Metal Jacket, so he's basically building as tanky as he can to be able to absorb enough or as much damage as he can from Hun Jaegers and Official Hein. So it feels like the longer this game progresses, there's a possibility of a pretty easy backdoor for Elite 8, but that's just a scenario. On the other hand, if this game actually goes into the team fight, maybe now this is the time we're in terms of who lasts longer. It might actually be Infamous because of how tanky the Arden has built himself, and there's a good amount of survivability as well on the Samuel. I'm not gonna say there's a good amount of survivability for a Spaghetti, because he's just gonna go kamikaze on anyone and try to get a pick off for Infamous.
We saw that from the earlier clashes, that it feels like Elite 8 could oh no, rather Infamous can out-sustain in terms of energy, but this is late game. A lot of kills happen almost instantly at this point, and there's no room for energy to actually run out. You just have to cycle 2 to 3 skills, and you already have a victor of the clash. So it's really Elite 8 trying to bait out 100% commitment, because we saw how Infamous tends to get this tunnel vision.
Yeah.
They tunnel vision into the Kraken, they tunnel vision into clashes that they know that they will win, and they saw that the Kraken is already knocking in towards the base of their base.
Yeah.
So this is something that they could take advantage of. We saw Spaghetti, being very greedy earlier, was not able to secure the kill on towards the Black Feather, which is, official Hind. So a lot of things Elite 8 could take advantage in this type of scenario, in this mentally stressful scenario. But meanwhile, for Infamous, I'm really impressed right now. They're working so well. We'll find out soon enough.
And here we go. We're back into this game. Goal leads don't matter anymore because of the itemizations for both of these teams. Finished already for the count. Now it's all who chokes more. Oh wait, the Arden actually sold his jacket and bought landmines. So you know what they're prioritizing right now. Vision, among other things. Clockwork to be bought up by Uni as well. So he does have at least, more spammability on his skills. And now they're being as careful as they can be because they know that E8 have the better of this game. But Hun Jaegers was found out. They're chasing him down. And can they go for it? They bait out as well that arcane passage, but, well, they got ultimates away from Elite 8, and I think that's what Infamous were trying to do.
Well played by Infamous. That is 48 seconds, a small time frame for Infamous to reinitiate. They never used the gauntlet. They've never used any key ultimates so far. So Elite 8 will really play defensively this time. They're
going to line up. That's not going to be good, but now there is the defense. There was the usage on the wait for it for the Vox. He's trying to run away as fast as he can. Man, oh my god, Anime save me! It's gonna go down! No more healer for Elite 8! He's chasing him down! The one kill! 50 seconds onto Anime save me and Hun Jaegers. They can actually push for the turret, but they will decide for the better and go for that Kraken.
It's Kraken time, boys. Infamous has eliminated 2 members. They're going to be safe for now. I don't think Black Feather is going to risk it too much in actually stealing this. But if Infamous secures this Kraken for themselves, that means another opportunity for evening it out in terms of structures. They will get the Kraken. They will try to push. But they have to care. Again, well played by Infamous. Good clash.
Davy Jones gotta be pissed on that one because his Kraken has been, pulled into the side of Infamous, into the side of Elite 8, but now Infamous, or rather Elite 8, we were talking about how Official Hind and Hun Jaegers sometimes also have that misposition, and in this very, 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 very late stage of the game, one misposition could ruin it all.
Oh my god!
Oh no!
What is going on?
Wait, no flash just yet. Hang
Yes.
on, I do have vision. Okay, we're still back. Nothing yet. Hold your horses. Hold on to whatever it is you're holding on to right now because we are in for a roller coaster ride of emotions from the crowd, from the casters, and from the frickin' players.
All right, so it's not going to be even in structures just yet. Kraken is going to fall before this turret actually gets destroyed. Infamous still lacking an even footing here, but in terms of clashes and team fights, they've been coming up on top. They've been surviving the onslaught of Elite 8. They are confident enough to enter into these fights, and Spaghetti looks like they're going to be bumping.
Let's get ready to rumble! They're going in right now, and they just go back right immediately. Both of these teams know they can't overcommit, and well, it's all gonna turn to if they do overcommit. Yeah, not gonna say that. Uni gets caught out right there. There's gonna be the usage onto the on point. You can see that they are using this Arden to block damage for as long as he can and maybe get the damage onto their own. There is Spaghetti into the backline. He's going in. There's no help just yet from his teammates, but now he comes back online.
Ooh.
There is the obliteration of Hein Jaegers. There's the one. Oh my god, this could be it. Official Hein is so alone. And Spaghetti, will he allow him to survive? I do not think so. And an ace, 40 seconds. And then have Infamous done it? Have they won and taken out Elite 8 from the contender of first place or champion here in our tournament?
This is the comeback series. This is amazing. Elite 8 coming back from the dead. Infamous coming back and then taking Game 5 away from them. Look at that. They've conceded. They're hitting down the turrets. 25 seconds on the clock. 13. I don't think they can defend
In their
this.
minds, they're saying, don't choke, just break down that core. And ladies and gentlemen, your winners for this best of 5 is gonna be Infamous.